Jen's been telling me that we get a lot of comments on most of the stuff that we're actually building, especially with shelves. And I know I'm pretty bad about recording. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually do a segment where we focus on the little projects that I have. That way you can actually see how I actually do everything from beginning to end. So today I have to build a dog brand for my boss. Now the dog's getting old, and he's not able to jump on the bed anymore. So we're gonna actually try to build a foldable ramp, so you can actually fold it and put it under your bed when you don't need it. So we're gonna do. There's gonna be two steps. Step one is gonna be we're gonna build the box. So we're gonna build the box first, then we're gonna build the ramp. Basically, once the ramp is built, we're gonna do something like this. And my way of thinking is the best way to do it is to be able to put a small stick that you can raise this as high as you want it and as low as you want it. You can basically take it off, and then now it basically folds. But I was thinking, instead of just doing a ramp, because usually ramps are like this, and the dog it's gonna have to jump from the incline to the bed. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the ramp, and then I'm gonna make a little pad where they can actually sit and then jump into the bed. That way they don't, it's not weird for them. So the materials we're gonna use is gonna be 2 by 4 by 8, and basically it's gonna be a square edge white common board. These are actually 522 at Home Depot. Then you're gonna need a 1 by 1 by 8, and these are actually $1.12. And then you're gonna need 2 by 2 by 8. So it's gonna be like $2.07 at Home Depot. And basically these are the 3 materials you're gonna need to make
the frame.
The frame for the dog ramp. So they have a California king size bed. So this ramp is going to be a little bit bigger than usual. Now you can make it whatever size you need. Just I'm giving you the not specifics, but I'm going to give you the idea of how to do this ramp. So first of all, we're going to cut 2 pieces of the 2 by 2 by 8. And we're gonna actually cut 2 pieces of 56 inches, and then you're gonna cut 2 pieces of 23 inch. And then basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna put your 23, your 56, your 23, and that's gonna be your box. Once you have that built, then inside we're gonna build little squares that I'll show you. So this is gonna be your, I guess you can say it's gonna be your height controller, because we're gonna have this to be able to tilt it. So the closer you go to the end, the lower the ramp will get, and then the farther you get to the back, the higher you want. So all beds are different sizes. Plus, you can actually take this anywhere, and you're going to be able to adjust the height. Alright, so now we got to get the dimension on how high this thing has to go. So I'm probably looking at 57. Probably 57. Let's see. 5 feet? 5 feet. These are 5 feet. On the dot. sand them down because it makes it a lot easier when you paint. You don't have none of those little
jagged edges.
Yeah. So that's gonna go there. It's gonna go here. We're gonna make it with this thing basically up like that. And you can actually hold it, and then you can actually bring it back down. Hide it. So we're gonna actually what we're gonna do is we're gonna make it 14. We're gonna put one of these here, and we can cut a hole here and here because I was actually gonna only use one. So at first I was thinking I was only gonna use one arm to keep this thing up, but I think it'll be a lot easier just to put two of them. They both swivel. That way, just in case the dogs get on one side or get on another, it doesn't try to tilt. So it's a lot more sturdier. Here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this type of wood, and I'm gonna actually cut. Let's do 2 feet. We're gonna cut them 2 feet. Now these here are 2x1 pieces of wood. You know, it's funny because you look for 2x1s, but it's a totally different measurements. This is actually 3/4 by 1.5. We're gonna cut 2 feet. Here and here. So you're gonna put these down here. You can actually see them here, okay? And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a piece of block here, and then we're gonna space them out. So when we actually do have our arm, you have a place where it'll hang in there.
Oh, you mean for it's a lock?
There you go. Sorry, I can't speak. Like I said, this is just for me to be able to hold it. I like to have something flat, so I know that it's not, everything sits perfect, especially when you're doing cabinets and stuff like that, or frames. You don't gotta worry about.
Is it safe to be doing that the way you're doing it?
No, but this thing, it's basically 15, it's a little bit more than 3/4.
Did you ever give the measurements for this box?
Yeah, I did.
You did? Okay.
Yeah. Yes. I already told them these are, they're actually 54 by 16. Now we're gonna try to get our space here. So when we actually do come in, I'm gonna have a piece coming this way, then coming this way to hold the ramp, so you can actually lock it in there, lock it this way. It can actually work. Okay, so I cut these 2 inches. I cut 8 of them. So what I did was, just to make my life easier, I cut another piece that's actually 2.5 inches. Actually no, it's 2 7/8, and I'm going to use this as a measuring block, so I know that I'm right on the money with the measurements. That way I don't have to use the tape and so that should be perfect because they're all the same. So you don't have to worry about if you're off or, you know, they're all basically the same. So this is a lot easier than trying to use this. Sometimes you will mess up. But now this is basically our
Lock.
This is our lock mechanism that we're going to use. So now I'm going to cut another piece this way, but this size here. And then I'm going to make one coming up that way. So it's going to basically look like chair legs, basically. That's it. I don't know how to explain it, but Up here it makes sense. Coming out, it's Chinese. Oh, sorry. Okay. Up here it makes sense, but coming out, me trying to speak French. So, yeah. Okay. And his bed is 80 by 29 height. That'll work. All right.
Right.
This is gonna be your ramp. Actually, what I did was, as you can see, I rounded the end, so when you actually do pull it up, the bottom part doesn't hit the floor. So I have to go 29 inches up. That's the height of the bed. So I'm trying to get the right height so this thing would hit the floor. So I basically used one of the sticks I cut a little piece, used it here, and put it here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually drill a small hole here to be able to hold this piece in place. So when I actually do lift this up, I can use my marker, which I cut this 29 inches high, which is the size of the bed. I'm going to use this on my marker to how high I need to be with the ramp to be able to hide it on the bed eye view so you won't really see the ramp. Okay, so I actually had to change the way I use the little blocks. I was actually using them flat, but I figured out that it wasn't going to give me enough space to put the plywood and the carpet we're gonna actually put in. So I ended up flipping this out sideways. So that's the perfect height that I need. So, okay, so now I'm ready to put the screws in. Just to tighten this up, make sure this is steady, it's not gonna move before I start building the ramp. So usually what I do is I pre-drill the holes just because wood is, especially closer to the end, it's very fragile, so it's prolonged to start cracking or splitting the wood. So if you actually just drill the little hole here, it will actually help you put the screws in without worrying of splitting the your piece apart. You see, put the screw in and it is split. So before I put the screws in, remember I put finishing nails just to hold this together. So to make sure this thing's square, I'm going to measure from one corner, which is 56 5/8, to the other corner, which is 56 5/8. Now if it's off, all you gotta do is just kind of push it this way until you have the right measurements on both sides. Pre-drill this hole here. Pre-drill this hole here. After that, we just put wood putty and it will hide that. Okay, so now that I have the frame done, I screwed in the ramp onto the frame. And then what I did was I cut a 2x1 and cut it 29 inches, which is the height of the bed. And I'm going to use this as a ruler to see how high I have to go and how I'm going to cut the flat surface from the incline. Well, I made myself a little helping hand, which is I used the stick, and I ended up nailing a piece of wood here to hold this together from falling. And then I did the same. I used the same piece of wood here to give myself a gap, so basically it will mock up the difference that I have when I bring this thing down. So now I can actually hold that in place while I figure out how I'm going to do the cut. So I cut myself a piece of plywood about 3/16 of an inch, or you can use a screw for dimensions from your sides, because remember you're gonna have to tug the carpet here. So once I cut it, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut a whole bunch of 17s and a half, where these are gonna basically be used for like little I don't know what you call it, Jen?
It's just for the dogs to be able to get grip as they're going up.
Alright, so once you cut, you're going to cut a few of these, about 5 of them, about 17 and a half long. And then what I'm going to do is the first grip, or the first step, it's going to be 6 inches from the bottom to the top. And then I'm going to cut myself 2 9-inch pieces of wood as a measuring tape. So once you put it here, and you know, if you butt it up, then that's going to be right on the money. And you keep going until you get on top.
And then it'll look like this.
Now it will look like this. So now what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna actually, like I said, I made these so I don't have to have somebody help me hold them. And you know, trying to work and hold something really sucks. So now that I know that that's the height that I need to be, this is the height of the bed. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come from here. I'm going to come straight this way. So now it's going to basically be a flat surface where the dogs can come up and that way. So since the height of the bed is this way, you're not going to be able to see the ramp if you're laying in bed. So I'm going to make it where it's a little bit shorter than the bed, but it actually makes it easier, because for the dogs to try to like jump up that way, basically it's going to feel kind of funny for them. And the only way a ramp like this works, if you're actually putting it like this towards the bed. But since they don't want it that way, they say I can make it where they can put it to the side of the front of the bed. So I had to make a flat surface so the dogs can go in there. Okay, so what I ended up doing is I took the piece of 2x1 that I had up here, and I figured the best way to go by this, making the flat surface, was going to actually use the same wood that I used for the sides, which is a little bit stronger. Butting it up on the plywood, I use my level to make sure it's good enough where the flat surface, it's perfect. Then I ended up putting 2 finishing nails here and 2 finishing nails here, just to hold it, to see if I'm actually going to add another piece here, so they will have a little big ramp so they can jump onto the bed. I am going to cut that end and this end, and I'm going to put like a little guide bar here just to make it look nice. So I'm gonna end up putting another piece here, just to kind of give them just so I can give them a bigger ramp. Sure that's level. I ended up taking these pieces out because it wasn't working like I wanted to. Luckily, I had some shelf, a piece of wood that I used to do the shelf here, so I used this, which is about 11 inches. So I used that as the platform.
That has a rounded
Yeah, it has surrounded it, but remember, I'm gonna put the carpet here, so you're not gonna see it. And then I ended up cutting this side here so they can actually come up and jump on the bed instead of having that. And then I'm gonna put a rail here, like that, on this side. It's just to keep them in here so they won't have to jump off. Once I get up here, I'm gonna basically put one here, and then put one here. That will keep them from jumping off this thing. So I was trying to do this every other way where, you know, this thing was actually going to be attached to this and it will swivel back and forth, and it just didn't work. And eventually I just scrapped everything out, and what I did was I just basically made one of these here, and then I measured up here and put 2 pieces of wood so it can grab right there and not go anywhere. So after a while I just decided to call it a day. So that's where I'm at. Okay, so I took the rampart off because I'm gonna cover it with the I don't know what kind of cloth this is.
That was basically the thickest material we could find, and it's 2 yards.
So I'm gonna.
We did get it on sale, so I think it was like what, $24?
Yeah. This is gonna go under the flat surface. So I'm gonna staple this together, make it all nice and neat. Now these here are gonna help the dog basically come up like a ramp.
You could also add a little cushion underneath this if you wanted to have it a little softer.
Yeah.
And you can buy the foam cushion at Hobby Lobby or Joann's fabric store.
Oh, you can?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm staining now the main base with the espresso color because the furniture she has is a little dark, so I think this is actually gonna work.
Explain what those are.
These are gonna be the it's gonna be like a rail. So how I figure out how to make this as perfect as possible is to basically put the rail against the wood that you're actually putting it on, and make sure that it's all the pieces sit flat. Here, and make sure this is where you want to go. When you do raise it up, basically all the same. Just to hold it, down just a little bit, just to hold it. Down just a little bit, just to hold it, down just a little bit, and just to hold it. There's your rail, and then I have a piece I gotta put right here. I got another piece that I'm gonna put right here, one right there, that's it. This is the finished product. I think it actually came out pretty cool. So it's not as hard as it may look. It's very easy. You just gotta do a few weird cuts here and there, but other than that, think it came out all right.